the term meme itself, it originates from the Greek word meme, which means imitation, and it was introduced in 1976 by the British evolutionary biologist Richard Dawkins in his work The Selfish Gene. And the whole point of I'm saying all that is that he was using it to say this is like information. It's basically a mind virus. That's the way that memes work. And I
didn't know that we were going to go back to the Greek for this.
Well, you did. Congratulations.
It's helpful. It's good.
You need carbs!
May thy knife chip and shatter.
There is beauty in imperfections.
You're great. I am.
And if you feel it, are you watching closely?
All right, if I don't move my head, I should be good. So
it's okay. I don't know. Sometimes just seasons come and go, and now the summer is just, like I think is it June early or is it?
It's early June. That's the longest day. Yeah, when the summer not equinox. What's it called?
June 20th.
Yeah.
So we still got 3 weeks to go, but I don't know. It's just kind of amazed me that it's like, dang, it's like 9.
Yeah, which is like I was literally like 5 minutes ago. I was just outside working in the garden for my mom, building up a bed for her. So, which is why I'm doing this.
Yeah, we used to have maybe you were overexposed at the start of the episode, and then by the end you had to turn on your light. But we're not going to do that today.
And yeah,
maybe it's
has that one thing that you got, has the program or whatever, has that helped a lot?
Yeah, a lot. It goes a lot faster, makes it better quality, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was really helpful for your feature presentation because there are 4 cameras. Actually 5. I don't know if you watch it. You don't. I know you don't. You listen.
Yeah. Well, I watched the YouTube thing because I've never heard of them. I do not know who these people are at all. Sorry if they're listening to this, but I have no idea who you people are. But that's okay. It's fine.
I combined all the faces into like a wide angle in case we're talking over each other. So that's help. So there's 5 angles, and it just automatically cuts all of them. I think that there are tools that advertise them as auto. Like I actually used to use an auto podcast making app that I paid for, and it sucked because I didn't have as much control. The more control you give to the program, the less you have. And so it took a lot longer, actually. When I started editing it manually, it took a lot longer to edit in the auto podcast maker than it did personally, because I had to finagle my control over the episode in that case, instead of now when I can still do things faster and do what it did, but I have complete control over it. So
nice.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing, I don't know. One reason I brought up what's new is that I am trying a new browser, and it's not a big deal for anyone else except for a nerd like me. But I'm trying the Arc browser, and currently what I'm doing for using it is I used to have. I mean, this might still be something I need to get used to, but I used to have recording on one monitor, so that's all the cameras and whatever, and then I would have notes on another. Now, right now, this new browser Arc does split screen tabs, and so I can have Riverside on half the screen and my notes on the other. Now, I don't know if that's necessary because I still have a whole monitor on this side that's doing nothing. So it's like, yes, I'm using the split screen feature, but I also have a completely free monitor. So why wouldn't I just use, one tab on each? But
I don't know. I'm poor. I only have one computer that does split screen, so I can't relate,
Yeah. Well, it would definitely be helpful for something, for a single screen for sure.
Yeah. See, otherwise what I can do is I can take my notes and I can set them right there, and you won't even know I'm reading them.
You'll be like Josh watching Shrek, that one Batman episode that we had. Right. Josh, I keep seeing Josh look to the side. He's just watching Shrek.
Here, I'll put
I'm gonna go
Shrek
with
underneath the screen.
so it looks like you're looking at us.
I have replaced Zach with Shrek.
Dang it.
Yeah, we do have actually we have like an episode with like just the Nolan Bros doing something coming up soon, don't we?
We do. We want so for those who don't know, and he hasn't announced this, so I don't expect you to know. Josh is doing something big for the summer between years of college, and so he is very busy. We have not been able to get him on because of scheduling conflicts, as in his schedule. I guess ours are getting more complicated than back when we did it, and we were just in college, or even I might have started it when you guys were still a senior in high school, maybe. I don't know.
I think it was just when I was starting college because that was right before.
Okay.
Yeah, right before I went into it.
But yeah, our schedules just grow up with us, and Josh has made a wonderful sacrifice to be able to record sometime next month, and we'll get a Nolan Bros episode in. We still have Insomnia to get to, but that's not going to be Insomnia. We're just going to do a round table, see what comes up, and hang out for a bit. So I'm excited for that. We haven't seen him for a while. Zach, I see all the time. He's my main guy, and we just saw Mission Impossible Final Reckoning together today. So that was I left my review in the Discord.
Let's talk about memes.
Well, just wait. I was going to ask you what you've been watching recently because that's our new thing, and I've been liking it, even if it gets a little out of hand. And yet I'm asking you, and you probably didn't. You don't watch a ton of stuff, except for TV. You do more TV shows, kind of.
Sort of. It's more. There's two ways that I consume media. There's YouTube. Well, actually, more than that. There's like two. I think a few main ones. Like, if I go to the library and I find a movie, it's like a hassle for me to watch it because usually I'm thinking, okay, maybe this is something my brother or my sisters or whatever can watch as fun. Sometimes I'll get to it. Sometimes I won't. But usually it's like, okay, I'm going inside and like my mom's put something on the TV at night or something like that, and I'll just kind of see what are you watching. Like, for example, the other night there's this movie called Push, which has 2009. It's about like psychic stuff, and it's interesting. I just only come in from parts. I'm like, oh, what's going on? So that's one way. The other main thing is through like YouTube, which I don't really think counts because I don't really like that's like for videos or information or music while I'm working on something. So I don't think that quite counts as much. I thought there was something recently I did kind of watch. Actually, I have yet to put this onto the Discord, but I want to do it. I did watch The Flash because I found it at the library, and Morbius, and I need to put this on the Discord because honestly, they're not as bad as people say. At least in my opinion. Flash, I can definitely see it more because the CGI is like, I think it had good potential. Morbius though is just like it's a type of film. Like I really don't know why people like have been hating on it, or maybe not even hating on it. I think it's because which actually ties into our topic today. It is such a movie that is becoming a meme, which is what everyone thinks about it.
Sure.
Which is like, if I watch it, like I'm like, this is a very fine film. Like, I mean, it's like maybe there's a few parts that are like whatever. But like it's not like it takes itself fairly seriously. It makes logical sense for the most part, and it's like, okay, this follows through, and I think the villain was like, okay, that's an interesting way they did that, and it all makes sense for the most part to me. So that one I was just like, this isn't like atrocious. So for me it's kind of hard to understand why people don't like it so much. But I think it's just because like people didn't see it, then it became a meme, and that's all people think about it. That's literally it.
I wouldn't give you the segue point, except we're just going to talk about what we're watching. You had brought that up, and we can talk about that here in a sec, but that is an interesting take. So, peek behind the curtain here. We recorded with your feature presentation on Tuesday. Their episode went live on Friday, and today is Saturday. So, the amount of things that I've watched has increased by one, I think, and that was Mission Impossible 3. Because Zach recommended I watch that before watching Final Reckoning, which I already said I watched today. So, yeah, I have both reviews in the Discord, but that's all I've been watching. Yeah. And Ellie and I are trying to work through Andor. We're going to it might not be an Andor episode. It might be roped into the State of Star Wars with Isaac later this summer. But, yeah, that's it's coming up, and Andor's been good.
Yeah. Which
everyone's been saying that.
I don't think I can commit. Well, no, I could. It's just that's really it'd be really hard for me to commit to Andor. I'm sorry. It's not you. It's me. It's just because that's like one I have to Disney Plus, which I think maybe one of my sisters has. Two, that's like they're really long episodes, and there's like 8 of them. That's like 8 hours or something like that. That's a long time.
There's 12 episodes.
Oh man, that's even longer
per season.
Oh boy.
It is some of the best Star Wars since Rogue One
which I watched.
and the original trilogy.
Yeah, which is that's the only reason I'd want to watch is because I watched Rogue One in theaters. I thought, oh, that's pretty good, and then then I watched The Last Jedi, and I think that was the last Star Wars movie I watched in theaters, which is just.
You didn't even watch Rise of Skywalker?
Yeah, I never watched any of the Star Wars films because I wanted to. It's because other people were like inviting me to it, so I was like, okay, I'll go to it.
That's right. I forgot you're not that much of a Star Wars guy. Hence our 6th episode when we did Is Star Wars Dead, and you told me after, you know what? I'm not that much of a Star Wars guy. I'm like, why did you offer to be on this episode?
Because somebody needed to do it, and here's the thing: is like I don't necessarily have I'm not like super into Star Wars. I like it. I'm more of a casual fan. I just know a lot about it because I'm a nerd. Although my knowledge of Star Wars canon is less compared to other fandoms, which I have much more knowledge of.
I know.
Especially.
Yeah. You're more the fantasy guy.
Yeah, I tend to be. But Star Wars is a sort of fantasy thing. But it's also because like there's the Disney Star Wars canon, then there's the Legends canon, and Legend canons. I try to be like. My issue is that if I get into something, I get into it, and so I know that if I want to go into Star Wars Legends, I'm going to dive into it head first, and I'm like, no, don't do it, Will. Restrain yourself. So I kind of intentionally try to keep that a little bit at foot's pace.
Sure,
but.
Every time you move, I get flashbanged by the sun. it's
like I have the power of the sun. Right, there we go.
Now it's exposing properly.
Okay,
yeah. But it's like the video of the guy getting like,
oh, I absolve you of your sins.
I absolve you of your sins. You have been forgiven.
No, that's also a good one. I was thinking of the guy who's playing Call of Duty and he gets flashbanged and he just stares directly into the screen like he doesn't blink.
Deploying flashbang.
So today we are talking about memes and Hollywood. I don't know exactly what this episode is called.
Gun Mean Review. Sorry, that's Brandon Herrera.
I do. Yeah, I haven't watched his videos in a while. What do you? Okay, hold up. Back up. You think that meme review is Gun Meme Review from Brandon Herrera?
What do I think of it?
That's where you brought up Gun Meme Review.
That's because I haven't really watched it. I just know that it's also a very specific style of content, which is very easy for people to farm, which is like, oh, something happens, emergency meme review of whatever.
I get that, but I know you don't think Brandon Herrera made that, but you referenced Gun Meme Review instead of the original meme review from PewDiePie.
Oh, I didn't know that was the original. I just know Brandon Herrera.
Brandon was copying PewDiePie. He just did Gun Meme Review, and PewDiePie would go Meme Review.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah,
anyways,
I don't really watch either of them.
Sorry for force culturing you.
Okay, I've been encultured.
It is time for Meme Review. I had this original idea, didn't come from anywhere, not stealing it or anything like that. Just realizing the more we talked about a Minecraft movie specifically this year, how many memes have been made because of a movie launching, like before or after, and how they've changed the landscape of movie production. And so I asked the admins what they thought. No one was really helpful. You brought up The Flash. So before we get into what I think, let's keep going with The Flash. You say that memes were created about it. It became a memeable movie.
That was Morbius, but yes, it's related.
Okay. So go on what you thought about The Flash.
Well, The Flash and Morbius both are very not mimetic, memeable movies, or movies that have become. Sure. I think it's better to describe them as movies that have become a meme in and of themselves. So actually, I've been thinking about it while I've been preparing for this episode. That there's kind of we're talking about like the interplay basically between memes and movies and what those are. And the way that I have come to think about it is that there's kind of different categories of relationships between memes and movies, and there's the ones that I have are is that there are memes made of movies. So, for example, Marvel, that's pretty prevalent. Like, the one scene from when Tony says, like, "What would you look at that?" Like, that's a meme template. That's a meme that somebody watched the movie, thought that was kind of funny or whatever, isolated that specific instant and made a meme. Memes made for movies. There's a lot of M words going around here. Then I think there's memeable movies, which are movies, it's basically any type of movie, but that is more likely to have a lot of memes made about it. So like the early Star Wars prequel trilogies, those have a lot of memes made about them. I don't know if those are called the memeable movies, but you kind of know what I mean when I'm saying that. Then there's, I think, movies that use memes, that are incorporating memes. That's like the Minecraft movie, and more recent, basically any Jack Black film, honestly, that's more recent. Like the Super Mario Bros. Movie. And then there's movies that are memes, basically, or a meme movie, which I think that's kind of like Morbius and The Flash fall into it. They're basically movies that have become so isolated in the cultural zeitgeist that they have become a singular meme in and of themselves. So that's like that. I think that's the best opinion if that is Morbius. So what I was saying is that I watched the films. Like those were at the library. I picked them up. I was like, that's interesting. Let's see what they're about. And I found them to be of better quality than I thought, essentially. Like The Flash, for example, I think that The Flash could have been pretty good if it had better CGI and it didn't have Ezra Miller as the Flash. That's the main thing. Is like he's quirky and awkward. He's not a good actor for that, I don't think.
You can say that it would have been better, yes, but there's so much bad CGI and so much Ezra Miller that you might as well. I think that's just, you can't. I just think it's an overstatement to say it could have been better if only these two things were changed, when in reality those two things are most of the movie.
I mean, like I don't know. Maybe again, this is just from my perspective. Like the CGI was like, there's parts where it was like very bad, but like even still, most of it, like when he does like the running thing and it's like a slow motion, like that wasn't as bad in my opinion. I don't think not when he's doing the weird vortex, whatever you call that. But I'm not necessarily defending the Flash. I just didn't think it was as bad as I was expecting. Even more so with Morbius, where I think that was a pretty fine film. Like it's okay film, because like the CGI was, it was okay. I think the use of shadows or whatever, the incorporation of that hid some of the defects, and they didn't use it like an absorbent amount. The story was like, okay, that makes sense. This flows from this, which flows from this. I think it's actually had a kind of a nice story with the idea of like the brother, and the conflict between them, and they're both not blood brothers, but like who become made brothers in and of themselves. And it also makes perfect sense why forgetting the bad guy's name. I'm blanking on it, but
don't ask me. It's been so long.
Yeah, but like why he turned evil, like because it makes sense, and this is just like there's hints earlier in the movie that set up, so it's a good setup and payoff. There's a couple parts where like, okay, this is a little strange, but but Morbius I think is like a fine film. It's just it's become such a meme that it's like it's hard to enjoy without that context. Like I think if you let's put it this way, I think if you put somebody who had never heard of any of the Morbius memes or whatever and had no context about it, and just like said, just sit and just kind of give us your honest opinion of this film, I think they would find it to be a fine film. That's what I mean. But it's become so like it's Morbin time. Like that is what people think about when they say Morbius. That is all people think about when they see Morbius. So you can't remove that context from the film. And that's what I mean when it's a meme movie. Like the movie itself is essentially a meme. Which actually, speaking of meme, I think it might be good to kind of just define meme if you want to be technical about it. Because I actually think that this kind of relates to how memes are interplayed between movies and their usage, and kind of a bit of the philosophy about it. So using the Encyclopedia Britannica, a meme is defined as a unit of cultural information spread by imitation. And it's kind of ironic because the term meme itself, it originates from the Greek word meme, which means imitation, and it was introduced in 1976 by the British evolutionary biologist Richard Dawkins in his work The Selfish Gene. And the whole point of I'm saying all that is that he was using it to say this is like information. It's basically a mind virus. That's the way that memes work. And I
didn't know that we were going to go back to the Greek for this.
Well, you did. Congratulations.
It's helpful, but it's
because
good.
the thing is the word meme itself is a meme. Because what is a meme? It's essentially like
Mm-hmm.
it's like a virus, but it's in your head essentially. It's like, I'm telling you this funny thing and you're sharing it and you share it and you share it, and so it becomes memetic. That's the more technical term for kind of the spreading of it. So
Yeah.
when you think about that, like basically what are memes is like they have this particular context, but they emerge from imitation, from repetition. And most of the time when you're using a meme, it's it's usually something funny, but it's based off a meme template, and that's used for a lot of other contexts.
Mm-hmm.
And so because of that, like it's all about imitation and spreading the singular idea. So there's your technical info fact for the day or something about memes.
That word.
Yeah.
That's actually very interesting. Because we would probably say that memes are, impact font with, well, there's a funny video. Let me tell you. Let me tell you about this funny video I saw. Give me a second. I'm literally looking up how to create a meme.
Well,
that's not what I mean. That's not what I mean.
It's not what I mean, man.
Yeah. And boys at 2 a.m. looking for beans. There it is. I found it.
Okay. Please hold. Oh boy.
Hey dude, I made this pretty cool meme. I wanted to show it to you. Oh, that's so funny. How'd you make it? Well, you see, first I added this really colorful background, and then this really funny cartoon of a salamander, and then this text, ask for a water cup and fill it with soda. I call it Sneaky Salamander. Oh, you want to know how to make a fresh meme? Well, let me show you. First, you take an oversaturated hallway, fill it with shadow demons, and then add some text like, me and the boys at 2 a.m. looking for beans!
And that was in 2019. It's gotten worse in 6 years.
90% like when you go on YouTube Shorts or whatever, and it's the Discord memes for my mom's basement or whatever, and it's like me and the boys doing this, and it's all just like terrible things. It's like me when she asks, have I been working out or whatever, or something like that. It's all
memes have changed over the years for sure.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's kind of funny that Larry was very accurate in his prediction of how comedy would change, and it'd be randomly generated. And usually it's the random stuff that gets me laughing. Bringing it back to movies. The movies that I have listed are a little bit different than what you explained with The Flash, because I didn't see a lot of memes about The Flash. Obviously, people will use anything from any movie for a meme, doing this random thing, putting a caption on it, and that's a meme. So you can use a good movie, you can use a bad movie. I think that the bad movies have more opportunity to be memed in the literal sense of even screen recording the theater screen, which don't do that. That's not legal, but they do it and put something over it to either manipulate it somehow. Sometimes it's more than text. It's editing it to be different. It's doing the chicken jockey thing in the theater, which is more meta. And it's just so different and new, specifically recently, how memes have infiltrated the experience of seeing a movie. One of the ones on my list is Minions: Rise of Gru, where everyone.
Let me just say, I Despicable Me is very much the type of franchise where I don't like it because it's all it ruins humor because it's popular, and so everything becomes a fart joke. And two is like the first film was, as with most franchises like that, like the first film was fine. Everything after that is trash. Same thing for like Ice Age or like The Cruise or anything like that. Or just stop, please stop, don't make any more. But they do because it's funny and it makes money.
But it's not anything to do with the movie content. I don't even know what the Minions Rise of Gru, all the suits and, me and the boys going to watch it. That was like the start of something like the chicken jockey for Minecraft, where everyone just kind of collectively agreed that we were going to do this X thing. And so I think Lessons in Meme Culture does a pretty good job in breaking down memes as they come out. He probably said something with Minions Rise of Gru that it's a generational thing. Despicable Me came out, I want to get this right. Despicable Me came out 2010.
Oof, no, I feel old.
Minions Rise of Gru came out 2022. So imagine that you're 8 watching Despicable Me in theaters in 2010, and now in 2022, you're I can't think.
It should be 20 years because it's 12 years. 8 plus 12.
Yeah. Now you're 20 years and you have your friends from college and you're going to go see it. So it's different. It's more of a mature way, even if it's more immature, to go do these things. So there's those like Minions Rise of Gru, a Minecraft movie. The others that I have on my list are Sonic the Hedgehog, because of how there wasn't a lot of memes specifically, but there's a lot of backlash. I think this idea of how memes shaped Hollywood kind of is turning into how the internet has shaped Hollywood, but mostly in memes. Because before the internet, there wouldn't have been even trailers released online. You would see a trailer in the theater, and then it would come out a month later, and they didn't have the chance to do reshoots or anything like that, or reanimations, whatever. And so having these trailers released online, having it get bad feedback, makes it a different movie when it comes out. Rarely does that happen. Like, I think just a trailer that everyone's liked is Superman, for example. Like, I understand that there might be test screenings that make them do reshoots, and I believe that's what's been happening. But no one has bullied a lot of people dislike how James Gunn is coming about with this new movie, but nobody's bullying him to change a major part of it. I still think the Sonic movie was a conspiracy. Not a conspiracy. It was
inside job.
Yes. So yeah, I was going to say, I believe in the conspiracy, which isn't much of a conspiracy, that the Sonic movie had the Sonic we got now ready the whole time, and they just made a really bad trailer to get people talking about it, and now we have 3 movies and coming up with probably a whole cinematic universe. But it got eyes on it and people talking about it, and when you get the internet full of echo chambers and people who don't have a filter, you're going to get this stuff. You're going to get the general feedback and more groupthink and all that. So things like that changed major motion pictures.
Well, I think you're right in that it's not necessarily memes that are changing the Hollywood. It's the internet. But the thing is, memes are the way vast amounts of information, especially emotional information, is quickly communicated. That's like the gift of memes. Now I'm going to try and be a bit meta here. And you're right when you're talking about like the movies that I'm referring to as Morbius and Flash. Those are movies that are memes in and of themselves, which I think is a bit different, where there's movies that are memeable. And those are, I think there's kind of like 2 different types. You can have popular movies, which because they're popular, more eyes are on them. Thereby, the chance of someone taking a specific instance and making a meme out of it is higher. Again, with the Marvel films, because millions of people watch that, the possibility of somebody taking a specific instance and making a meme out of it is much likelier. Inversely, you can have a film that is just how it's designed or whatever, or how it is produced or whatever, is more likely or is more palatable to have memes be created about it. For example, the "oh my bleep" meme. I'm not gonna say that because you shouldn't, whatever. But that memes comes from Troll Hunter 2 or Troll 2. Yep, Troll 2, which I actually have watched, and it's a bad film, but it's a hilarious film because it is so bad. And because it's a bad film, that's why it's so easy to take a sequence of it, which is cringe, and make it funny, and because it is funny because it's bad, and make a meme out of it. So that's the instance of memes being made of movies. And what you're talking about, though, is the interplay between the internet or the wider culture. And the internet is essentially, it makes interactions go crazy because you can instantly communicate vast, like whatever. And you have communities that can spring up and die instantaneously. And so because of that, Hollywood has to have a different relationship with the popular audience because the popular audience is on the internet. And memes are kind of a popular, easy way of communicating and interacting with each other. So, for example, if I send you a lot of car crashing memes, that has a specific instance and that says something either about a relationship or just about what I find funny or whatever. So that's a very simple example. But it's also the fact that memes in and of themselves are very useful for communicating lots of information quickly. But basically, the point is that memes can very quickly say a lot of information. For example, if I like tell you a joke, I have to tell it to you. Whereas if you use like the grumpy cat meme face and say me at 3 a.m. when there's no coffee in the fridge. Okay, that's a silly thing, but like, you know, you instantly are having a reaction to that. Whereas if I tell you, you know, I woke up at 3 o'clock and I was looked like this, like that's a difference where memes can like a picture's worth 1,000 words. That's the power of memes right there. And the thing about memes is that they can be brutally honest, but they also, all good memes have a universal core principle that they can apply to. So again, like the grumpy cat face meme, that's a grumpy cat. It emerged from a particular context. Somebody took a picture of their cat that was grumpy and they thought it was funny. But that speaks to a deeper truth, you could say, of how, you know, just like the idea of like being grumpy, of unsatisfied or whatever. And that primordial truth, you can say, can be applied to almost any circumstance, as long as you can apply the text to it or make it applicable. So that's what I mean, is that memes have a lot of power. They can be used very effectively, poorly as well. But if you do it right, they can communicate truths or just something that appears to be true very quickly, and they can speak to a deeper reality in that sense. Now, that's all very metaphysical, and I know I'm getting philosophizing. I'm sorry, I enjoy it. But I'm saying all that to say is that what do a lot of people do when something comes out? They make memes about it. They talk about it. But memes are like are very visual, expressive. That's kind of the first thing you can see about it. So again, like, you know, when the Sonic movie comes out, I wasn't necessarily there for the backlash, but I'm sure, like, you know, you're going to have lots of people making memes about it, making memes of the studio or making fun of it. And that's just one example of how, if you're looking through it, trying to gauge audience reactions, you're going to see those memes. But also, memes are just very easy to spread. That's what we talked about, the imitation. So I think that's where, like, the idea of like the Minecraft movie, why it has so many scenes that are memeable, because they're trying to make it so that if you make a meme of it, then that's going to spread it, and that's going to spread it to other people. And because it's an imitation thing, you find it funny. Somebody says like the chicken jockey thing, somebody makes a meme of that, and they spread it. That's what I mean. Like the interplay is becoming more interesting, and that's where it kind of gets into the category of movies that are trying to make themselves more memeable, so that people have more of an interaction, so that people can take it. Can take a scene or whatever that's artificially designed to be more memorable and more memeable, so that they can spread more, so they can get more eyes on it. Because that's ultimately what these studios want. They always want to get more eyes on the prize, and memes are a great way to do that, either as like an advertising thing, or as being built into the movie itself, or with the meta context of the film. For example, I remember when Aquaman 2 was coming out. For the advertisement, there's a very particular advertisement where it was Orms, Aquaman's brother, who was like, you know, disheveled, broken, and he had been like basically out in the sun too long. And then he's like, he gets to the ocean, the ocean washes over him, and it comes back out, and he's suddenly pumped up and ready to go. And the advertisement was like, me before coffee, and then the water comes over him, and he jumps out, me after coffee. Like, that's a meme in an advertisement for a movie that emerges because studios are seeing that if you make something funny and applicable, people like it, they might share it, therefore you get more views on it, therefore you get more eyes on it, therefore you make more money. That's my rant. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. You're welcome.
Well, okay, so you're right. It's a new form of marketing, and believe me, I know. I'm a digital marketing manager. And there are companies like Scrub Daddy or Duolingo who use that 100% to their advantage. Even Utah transportation system, state of transportation, or whatever, the transportation system in Utah posts everything in memes, and they're really funny, and I get them because people are sharing them, and so somehow I know what's going on in Utah because of these memes that they make. But there's also the post marketing memes. You know, you can only curate what people are going to think of it. Now, Minecraft has leaned into that. They have embraced the chicken jockey and flint and steel specifically as memes. They put them on the splash for the Minecraft game intro, and they just keep putting out stuff about it. They even do, you know, special showings, or did. It's probably not in theaters anywhere now. But they did special showings which let you go crazy, and they put text on the screen so you could say it along with them. So they lean into that because they know that's what's popular. Sometimes it's not about the novelty of the movie; it's just about the experience that has become a thing now. That if they know that people have created this experience through the meme, they will lean into it, because then they'll get more people to come maybe see the movie again through a different sort of screening, or more people to come see it because they're trying to check it out. Listener, throw your favorite meme in the Discord, whether it's the concept of a meme, your favorite movie that's been memed, or your literal specific favorite meme. And we hope that you join us over there for more discussion, and that you will follow us and share this with a friend, because that would make my heart happy. So please do that. Now, before we stop the podcast and you'll never hear from us again. Anyways, we'll see you next week. And until next week, know your love. God bless.
All right, see ya. Take care out there.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
There is a will, and he is here, so it's okay. There you go.